You guys, it's happening again. Like, I swear I saw him. I saw him just a minute ago. He's got to be around here somewhere. Uh, hang tight, hang tight. Show'll start in just a minute. Oh, you guys want the video, huh? Not just hiding behind this veil of still photography and looping music. Yeah. Give me a minute. I'll see if I can get everything up for you guys.
You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Hey, everybody. This week we're talking about neon werewolves and online couch co op. I don't know. We'll figure it out. This is Apathetic Enthusiasm.
That's right. This is Apathetic Enthusiasm, the show that we bring to you live every Monday, unless Rick and Morty's on, in which case we go every other week.
We cast it away. We're like, you know what? It's our favorite show. It's our firstborn until it's not.
That's right.
Until the real listeners show up. Hello, everybody. My name is Travis.
I am Brandon, and welcome to Apathetic Enthusiasm. For those who've been in the stream for the last 15 minutes, hey, congratulations! You've earned yourself a kudos from Brandon and Travis, the hosts.
You guys are holding it down. You guys are starting the conversation early over on twitch.tv/apathetic enthusiasm, or perhaps over at youtube.com/apathetic enthusiasm. If you're not following one of those two channels, well, what are you doing with your life? We are so close. We are like one follower away on Twitch from hitting our next milestone. So if you have a Twitch account and maybe you're listening, you've never watched the video version of the podcast, or you watch all the time, you just haven't followed us, please head over to Twitch and follow the Apathetic Enthusiasm account so that we can move into the next echelon of streaming success. And if you want to follow us elsewhere on the internet, you can follow us on Twitter at Apathusiast. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/apathetic enthusiasm show. Send us an email at apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com. or over on Instagram at apathetic_enthusiasm. Of course, this podcast, all of our podcasts are over at apatheticenthusiasm.com. And then, there's a few ways that you can buy merch from us over at apatheticenthusiasm.com/shop, or last but not least, the good folks over at patreon.com/Rick and Morty Pod, who support us financially and truly are amongst the greats.
There's a fucking mosquito in this place. And it's just like I see it like just dive bombing my forehead every once in a while.
The entire time I'm doing the mandatory social media plugs, Brandon's just like, what's these giant Florida state birds or whatever that are in your all up. They're co-streaming with us tonight on all of our platforms. Brandon, how the heck are you, other than fighting, malaria or whatever you're doing over there?
Fighting malaria. I got those pills. I'm good.
I'm fine.
I just saw it. That little bastard. It was on my mic thing. For those on the stream watching, you have to let me know if you see it land on my head, so I don't look at myself all evening, narcissistic style. I'm doing pretty good. I'm not sick. That's a start. We can talk about this. I ran 5 miles. You ran more than me, 5 miles.
Well, yeah, because you ran your 5 miles first, which meant I had to run farther.
Yeah.
It was a requirement.
That's right. And then for some that it was such a weird day. Can we talk about my day on Saturday?
Let's start out by talking about your Saturday.
Oh my God. All right. It started on Friday night. We didn't play D&D, but we ended up playing a game, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But then we were like, oh, you want to play another round? I'm like, no, I should probably get some rest. Okay. I went to my Xbox One, and I'm like, let me play some video games with old size mode. And I text him, I say, I'm on my way. And I press the button, and it goes, what? And I press it again. And I press it again.
And then a red ring materializes around the Xbox. That's a throwback. That's a throwback era if I ever saw.
Throwback era of the red ring of death. And my first thought was, okay, well, it's not getting power. It was probably the power supply. I've replaced the power supply on it before. It's the original. It's the first generation Xbox One, so I've had it since it was the first one. The very, very first ones that came out. And so it's old. I'm like, okay, well, power supply. I'll order power supply. They're $25 on Amazon. I'll get it tomorrow night, and then I'll check it out. But then I was reading more online, and I was like in the forums, and they're like, do this for the power supply, see if the power supply is bad in this way, check this way. And I did all those steps, and everything said that it wasn't the power supply. Everything it said it was the Xbox gone bad. I even went on YouTube and tried different things. Ah, fuck. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to get a new Xbox tomorrow. The power supply is still coming in. I'll see if it works, but I'll probably need an Xbox. I I wake up, do my morning thing, run 5 miles,
As one is wont to do. You're
covered
just
covered that, and I'm like, get my kid, like, let's go to Target, let's go get a new Xbox, and as soon as I look at the car, I see that the tire's flat, and there's a nail sticking in the
like rim on the road flat, or like
no, there
or
was
just like running low. I will
the,
paint a picture of this tire. I wanna understand
okay.
it.
Let's picture it's an old, it's an old tire. Okay, whatever. It wasn't fully flat, but it was flat enough where I'm like, I don't want to drive this more than a mile.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm doing this now. I take that tire off. I put the donut on, put the tire in the back. I say, okay, now we're going to go replace the tire. So I go to Tire Kingdom, drive to Tire Kingdom really slowly.
You have
Uh,
to travel over the muffler woods and through the bumper valley until you finally arrive at the Tire Kingdom.
thanks for reminding me. Matt's not in the stream. He said he would be, so I'm kind of mad at him.
Yeah. Where are you at, Matt?
Um,
You already been name dropped and voice
oh,
dropped in this show.
already started, I said. He actually asked when are you starting.
Oh.
Anyway, so
9/8 Central every Monday,
he actually made the
or
joke.
whenever Brandon gets here.
He actually made the joke to me on the way to Tire Kingdom. He's like, "Oh, Tire Kingdom, that's good. You don't want those peasants working on your tires." Like, not Tire Peasants is a different place entirely.
The entire tire area is a real serfdom, and you have to. I don't know. It's a bad joke. We'll edit that out.
Well,
Just
we'll
like
edit that.
wait, we never edit anything out. Okay.
No, that's true. Peasant serfs. Um, that was the other thing we did. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Oh,
So you're
get
at Tire Kingdom,
get the tire.
and the
Get the tire.
DM rolled a 7, and he's like, "It's gonna take 4 hours to fix your tire."
It's going to take me 4 hours to get through this story. I'm trying to get through it as fast as I can, and there's still so much to go. I'm really trying to shorten this up. I wait. I get to Tire Kingdom, and there's a lady in line talking to the attendant, and she's going back and forth with them. She's like, "Oh, I bought 4 tires already. Can I get 2 tires on, and then just keep the 2, or maybe I'll put 3 on, and then which one is better to put the 2 on? It's in front of it." And I'm like, I just want to ask if this tire is fixable. That's all I want to ask. I waited for like 10, 15 minutes, and eventually I got pissed off, and I'm like, you know what? I go to the car, I take a little video, I like stick my nail in the treads right next to the nail, the nail next to the nail. Ha! And I send a video to my brother, and I say, can I just fix a flat this shit, or do I need to replace the tire? He said, you
You
can just,
do from the parking lot of the tire store.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And he said, you could just fix it. Like, great. That starts another journey to AutoZone to get the slime, and then a gas station where I can. By the way, no, the gas station didn't have pliers, so I couldn't pull the nail out. So I had to buy like a wine opener with a little to cap to jimmy out the nail. Okay. Anyway, so then I get the Target. Finally, after all is said and done, I replace my tire. Get the Target, and then the Xbox. The Xbox, there's two versions. The Xbox without the disk drive, and Xbox with the disk drive. Xbox without is 250. Xbox with 300. Okay, that's the start this portion of the story.
D Squeeze in chat says that Fix a Flat will also work on your Xbox. In case you hadn't tried that.
It won't. I tried it. That's the first thing I did. 250, 300. And then I look on the Target app, and it's like, oh no, this is it's $50 off both models. I'm like, okay. So I go back to the attendant, the Target attendant, not the Tire Kingdom attendant, and I say to him, yeah, I'll go ahead and take the hard drive, the disk drive version because it's $50 off anyways. He's like, sure. So he comes over, he brings the Xbox, he rings me up, and I look at the price. I'm like, oh, this price doesn't seem right. It's the online thing. He's like, yeah, good to go. All right, cool. And then I had two Rick and Morty mini things that came in a box, and then he was like, he tried to scan it a couple times, it wouldn't scan. He's like, oh, what were these? Like $1 each? Okay, that's good. He didn't even wait for me to answer. He just like $1 each, great. And then I get to the car. I'm like, he must have just given me the diskless drive version, the version without the drive, because I got this Xbox for $200, and then I look at it. I'm like, no, he did. He did give me the disk drive version.
Gave you that employee discount
Yeah,
and match the online price.
I think he's about to quit. He must be
He's
about to
like, I already gave my 2 weeks notice. I just give people discounts on whatever I want. They don't even ask. I just put in whatever price. The guy came in the other day. He had a flat tire around his shoulder. I gave him a $200 Xbox. I didn't even think twice.
He must have felt bad for me. To end the story, three things happened. One, I went to Winn-Dixie to get a ribeye, and then I cut myself on one of the bones. I sliced myself on a ribeye bone. I'm like, okay, great, my luck is going good. Then I go to the scratcher machine, and I put $5 in. I get one scratcher out, and then I put another dollar in, and as soon as the dollar goes in, it goes.
It shreds your dollar.
Yes, and I'm like, you know what? I think my luck isn't going. It's kind of iffy. Last thing, the power supply does work, so now I have two Xboxes that work.
Yay. You forgot a very important part of this story, a part that I will remind you of, and that is that you purchased a blind box, a Rick and Morty blind box during your travels,
Yeah.
and you opened a very rare Wasp Rick mini guy. So that was
right.
pretty exciting.
My luck was just I was very, very lucky yesterday, but also very not happy with how that day turned out. I'm like, it's inevitable. I'm probably just gonna. That's a mosquito.
Ah,
It's a karma mosquito.
Karma Mosquito, coming at you. I want to interject for just a moment, Brandon,
All right.
to welcome Thiago Ruckus. I'm gonna say, which is following us now on Twitch. Thank you for showing up and I think getting us over that milestone that we talked about at the beginning of the show. So thank you so much. If you're listening at home, you could still follow too. The more the merrier. Everybody come hang out. Brandon is pouring wine out of a box as I speak. All right. Well, hopefully your weekend got better, Brandon.
Yeah.
You'll eventually one up that mosquito. But we were talking earlier today, and we were coming up with ideas for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I definitely want to talk about Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter.
Yes.
It was the first time, and I can't think of how long, that I've ever heard you say that combination of words together. So I'm really curious.
Oh.
What has you so fired up about Neon Joe?
All right. All right. Here's the thing. If you have a Hulu subscription, it keeps making suggestions for you to watch things, and it's like, watch this TV remake of High Fidelity. Like, come on, can you get any better than the John Cusack, Jack Black classic High Fidelity? No, you can't. But then there was something else that we saw on there, which was this show called Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter. And the first time I'd ever heard of that show or slash that character was when we were in Hawaii and going to the comic shop, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if it was like one of those free comic book day comics that I picked up or whatever.
I think it had to be because I think the same comic that you're talking about, which had to be like a free comic or it was bundled with another comic that was on our subscriptions.
Yeah, it had to have been, and I remember thinking, that's weird. And I think it mentions on the comic itself, like, Adult Swim show. I'm like, okay," and I read it, and it was confusing. I was like, "Is this supposed to be a joke? I don't know if it's supposed to be a joke." Okay, now fast forward to this year, in the last couple weeks, Hulu. We said, "Okay, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's watch an episode." And it's a character played by John Glazer, who is a comedian. He's been around a while. Worked with like Jimmy Kimmel, Conan O'Brien, and what have you. Whenever he goes on talk shows, he just dresses very, very like not flamboyantly, but just very, very weird. He's always wearing weird
Yeah.
shit. And the show started because he went on Jimmy Fallon and in like a neon suit, and they made a joke of being like. Um, uh, yeah, this is for my new show, Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter. And John Glazer had a show on Adult Swim called Delocated, I think.
Yep. Hmm.
And we saw him at the Adult Swim
The Adult
Festival.
Swim Fest, a very, very interesting what hour? I feel like he did like an hour on stage. It was incredible. It was very inspired.
If I knew him as well then as I do now, I would have appreciated it more. But anyway, adults that show was going off the air, and Adult Swim basically called him up after that Jimmy Fallon episode and said, "Yeah, we'll do it." He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
I,
they called,
I
they
feel
called him."
that's how all Adult Swim shows get greenlit. They're like, you got an idea about uh sentient fast food? Oh, it's animated? Yeah, sure. Let's order 100 episodes. Let's see what happens.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Therefore, Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter came out, and the show is basically about him, the werewolf hunter, and he goes into a town, and uh, the first season is all about him trying to find out who the werewolf is. But then there's aliens that that are in the city too, that are kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers esque, and it that description doesn't sound funny, but he does this thing that has taken a hold in the cruise residents, and that is saying the catchphrase "Hyump." It's just things like we'll just and Neon Joe says it. It's just like, "What the Hyump?" And replacing random words with "Hyump," uh, and I can't. The best line is later on in the season. He walks up to a guy and he's like, "Hyump, hyump, hyump, hyump." He's like, what are you doing? He's like, "What do you mean? What am I doing? It's a clock. It's a hyump hyump clock." And it's so stupid, but I fucking it's a one note joke. It goes miles. It goes miles, and
All
so I
right.
highly recommend it. John Glazer, 2 seasons. The second season gets way more raunchy, so we had to stop watching it.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Awesome plug for a show I've never seen. Have I'm gonna bring up a show,
Hmm.
and it's one that I haven't watched. And I'm going to assume you haven't watched it either because you haven't brought it up to me. It's a Netflix show, but it is taking the social internet by storm. Everybody's talking about this show. It's Love Is Blind. Have you heard
Oh,
about this show?
I've heard the title of that show, but I have not
Uh,
seen what the show is.
I I've never watched an episode, so we're gonna.
Okay.
I've watched the trailer for this series, and
Okay.
that was only after somebody came up to me at work today and was like, you watching this? You watching this Love Is Blind show?" And I'm like, "No, no, I'm
Oh.
definitely
Oh,
not."
okay. No, okay. Yeah, I know what the show is now. Keep going.
That basic premise, there's like, I don't know, 20 people or something, 16, however many people they could convince to go on TV, and they basically speed date each other in these little pods, and
Yeah.
then and you can talk to the people in the other pods, but you can't see them. And then the premise is basically that like people fall in love because like talking to each other and getting to know each other without ever actually seeing the other person. And then a bunch of them like fall in love and get married, and then they get married and they get sent to like, I don't know, some tropical island
Okay.
where they like honeymoon and then actually have to live with each other, and then all their like dirt starts falling out. Like, oh, I have student loan debt, or there's systemic racism in my family or something. I don't know, whatever it is. And then like there's a finale. I don't know. It's so I'm not watching it. Maybe people in the live stream are watching the show, but
It's
par-
reactions out there. Yeah, that's a
pa-
good.
part of
Game
me kind of
challenge.
wants to like hate watch it just to like report back on the podcast and be
Don't
like,
do it.
because I know that my wife right now is probably watching some version of The Bachelor, like Women Tell All, or I know that we're late in the season because like there's only a few people left, and every time I walk through and she's watching the show, it's like has less and less actually going on, and it's just the same people arguing about, their forced reality TV relationship.
Yeah.
But I feel like this show would be right up her alley. So I don't know.
There are a couple things in the chat. I'm going to point out Sire Dark specifically. So 90 Day Fiance, but worse. It does sound a lot like 90
Feels
Day
feels
Fiance.
that way.
Have you watched 90 Day Fiance?
No, I don't watch any of that stuff.
Oh my God. Look, I knew a lot about 90 Day Fiance last season because I sat there with my mom for like a 4-hour marathon. Uh, yeah, I was spending time with.
Yeah,
I don't watch it,
quality time with your relatives.
and yeah, that's it's just crazy to me. And then 90 Day the other way. I mean, the things people do for love. Am I right about?
Am I right? Well, and again, so this is one of the questions I asked the dude at work, is because this whole premise, like, love is blind or whatever, so you can't see the person. So I asked the question that everybody I feel like would ask is, are some of the people really ugly? Like, because that's a real risk in life. I mean, like, and maybe everyone is beautiful. Come on, everybody. Uh,
Everybody is beautiful.
but everybody's beautiful in different ways. And yeah, I don't know. There was definitely a reality TV show producer that did the casting for this show, so maybe that was in the contract. Like, all right, here's the deal. There are 8 young ladies that you're going to get a chance to date and potentially marry. I will guarantee you all of them are at least a 6. Okay, like, so like that's the risk factor that you're dealing with. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it seems like such an odd premise. I don't know. And it was, but like,
Can't we go back to finding real love,
yeah,
like
like the
like
dating game.
like Real World seasons 1 through 30 / Road Rules versus Real World?
Yeah, let's get those challenge episodes back up and running. Those
Uh,
were those were real relationships.
they were. Oh my God, Puck. Where's Puck now? Let's get Puck on the show. Let's get Puck on the
I
show.
I don't know. I'm gonna just Google the words. Where is Puck now?
Oh,
Where is Puck?
where is Puck now?
It.
While you're doing that, just a few things. Philip Marks, Sire Dark, and Matt all commenting on my wine drinking and saying, 90 Day Fiance. Woo!
Um. It says he's still alive, so that's good. He's in his early 50s. He has 3 children.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. So, way to go, Puck. Way to
Yeah,
go. Way to go.
I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him.
You guys, we had actual show notes. We had actual stuff to talk about. Well, we talked about Neon Joe. We did.
We did.
Another thing, and Brandon mentioned this earlier during the start of his Saturday story. But yeah, we were doing a little bit of gaming Friday night when our D&D appointment got postponed. So Brandon and I were trying to figure out something to do. We
Yep.
were perusing the Steam marketplace, and I think you are the one that found a game called Out of Space.
Out of Space,
Had
yeah.
had you heard of the game at all prior
Nope.
to you? Just it was just a cold find out on the deserts of the Steam marketplace.
Well, what happens, Travis, is every time we're hard pressed for a game to play, um, my first inclination was always to be like, "Hey, Jackbox Party Pack 6 is on sale. Maybe we should pick that up." And your reaction is always the same, "Huh?"
We
And then
could
we
do
move
it.
on.
I'm all for getting the Jackbox. Like I'm for it. Let's go. Let's do it right now. The podcast is over. We're buying Jackbox.
See you guys. Thanks for coming. I'm Brandon. Oh god, I started again. Yeah. So after that lukewarm reaction to Jack Pack Party Back Black 6, the next thing I saw, I was just looking at co-op games, and Out of Space was there, and it was pretty high up.
Yeah,
And
it was floating in that new and noteworthy sort of thing, I think.
so
Sean the Bro 27, thanks for following.
I looked at it, and I said to myself, it looks okay, but it's the important thing is it's cheap and it's something we can both play. You looked at it. I imagine you felt the same way.
Yeah, no, it it had that initial look where it was, I think I even mentioned like overcooked. Like it had that sort of top down at an angle, sort of like little cartoonish characters performing mundane tasks. And it seemed like just the level of difficulty that we were shooting for that evening, where it was like
Yeah.
pretty chill. We can just hang out, play this game. It'll keep us busy. And it had that Steam couch co-op feature so that we could actually play it together, which is a factor for us now. Like when we try to stream these games, we want people to be able to see what both of us are doing, and a lot of the times that's difficult because either I have to find a way to get your game video over, or they just get my game video, and I'm not as good at video games as you are, so then it often is the highlights of what we're doing. It worked for Underlords because I could just switch between views,
Yeah,
and I
right,
could just pick your stuff whenever I wanted.
This a side discussion, I think, but that whole like co-streaming or our desktops or whatever at the same time, that's always been something we've wanted to do, and for some reason technology doesn't exist or didn't exist, or we just haven't really readdressed it. Um, Plus, me talking, there's just a bunch of tech stuff that we have to figure out. But what I ended up liking about the Out of Space was Steam. What, in the last 6 months to a year, started rolling out the online couch co-op system of theirs, and so you take games like Cuphead, which traditionally there's not an online multiplayer aspect of it. You have to be in the room with another person to play the two players. Steam has made it to where you do that online. It's basically an online multiplayer game,
Yeah.
and I'm not smart into why that is a special thing. I just know that it is a special thing.
Well, and it was interesting because when we started it, like the game hasn't given me the achievement for doing an online match, because even though we were playing together over the internet, I am essentially streaming my game to you, and you have full control over the game on my computer. So as soon as we link up, you
Mm.
can navigate through menus. You can do everything as if you had a second controller plugged into my computer. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's the real difference to it. Is like we could bring in some other people. So if you have Out of Space, we're looking for players 3 and 4 to help us get through some of those larger apartments, if you know what I mean. But yeah, and so that really, if you were sitting right next to me in the office or whatever, we would have the same gameplay experience that we seem to have. And I mean, I can't speak to this because it was running on my computer, but did you have any issues with lag or anything like that while we were playing?
I did actually. Thankfully, you couldn't really tell on your side of the house, but every once in a while, you might be saying things like, "You need to get a pumpkin and put it in the microwave," and I'll have grabbed the pumpkin, but then there'll be that like kind of that rubber band aspect of latency where I'm like,
Okay.
"Ugh, ugh," and then I end up like on the other side of the space apartment, and I'm like, "Oh."
So,
Um,
so when I'm playing and I'm like, why does he keep walking all the way over there? Like, what is he doing? Why is he taking the pumpkin all the way to the front of the apartment?
Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes I just want to throw the pumpkin in space and a little bit of anarchy in our
That
lives.
you know, that's some uh, human slash chihuahuas just want to watch the world burn.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think it's time because we talked a little bit about the co-op, but for those who don't know what we're actually talking about with this game, the idea or the concept behind the game is that you and two to you and 2 to 3 other folks are in space, various animals, whatever, doesn't matter. That's just your avatar, and you are cleaning out an apartment, a space apartment, and there are aliens who dirty up the place, and so you go from room to room, mopping, splashing things with water to clean it up, and you can buy different things like furniture to rest, pumpkins to eat to refill your health, and things to slow the cleaning, or sorry, speed up the cleaning, things to take out the aliens and whatever have you. It sounds easy enough, but balancing the uh like you can pick up things, but you only pick up things one at a time, and you can't do everything all at once. And so it takes a long time to do the back and forth, like, okay, get rid of that alien. Okay, now I got to go sleep up more. Oh, crap, now I got to sleep. Oh, but the aliens are still coming in and they're still expanding. And it becomes hectic and being like, fuck, Travis, put water on that door to get rid of the eggs.
Well, and then you also have to deal with, excuse me, you have to deal with your avatar getting tired and also getting hungry. So while you're managing all that stuff, you can be like, all right, yeah, I'm my guy's sleepy, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna do this mopping real quick, and then I'll go take a nap on the couch. And then and then oh wait, oh but the water's, I need this, and then before you know it, you're passed out on the floor, unable to move as aliens are like dirtying up the room around you. Yeah, or you starve to death, to where you're really motionless unless someone comes and brings you food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's great. It's a great time. If you haven't seen the game, you can head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Apathetic Enthusiasm, and watch our first playthrough. Our very first playthrough was
Oh,
was very rough. Uh, and thankfully we had a lot of people watching, to give us tips like, hey, you're earning money. Why not use that money on things that make the game easier? So things like the microwave, mixers, those rugs that will slow aliens down. All of that stuff was
and I love buying rugs. I love buying rugs to keep them
the,
dirt off.
if this man has one weakness, it's those alien rugs. Let me tell you, he sure loves them.
Let him tell you. Let
Yeah.
him tell you. Yeah, ultimately I do. I like the game. I like that we could get together and play something at the same time. But you've also gone on your own. You've gone off on your own to figure out and explore the
I,
world.
I, I played a little solo, while you were busy, uh, getting lost in the Tire Kingdom, or whatever you were doing. I played a little bit myself, and yeah, there's some like weekly challenges where it mixes things up and makes certain things more difficult. Like, this last week, if you rested, it made you more hungry, and if
Oh,
and if you ate food, it made you more tired. So it made the balance of rest and hunger more difficult. And then also like the water buckets that you need for cleaning, occasionally they would fill with dirty water, which was a complete pain. And you were just dumping dirty water off the side of the apartment into space over and over again. And it took a really long time, and then I failed. And then I had you help me, and I think we failed again. Did we actually complete the... I don't think we completed the
No,
challenge.
no,
No.
we never did complete the challenge.
Haha. So we have something else to do. We need to complete that challenge. If you have played Out of Space, if you're playing Out of Space, maybe you can join us sometime to help us complete one of these challenges. But it's fun. It's that level of difficulty where you can't not pay attention. Like it keeps your focus all the time, but it's not overly complicated to where you're like having to think really hard. You're just prioritizing tasks over and over again. It kind of feels like my day job, just like putting out small fires over and over again until I'm allowed to go home. But yeah, it's fun. It's
fun.
It's fun.
It doesn't sound fun when we talk about cleaning, but
Misery loves company. Let me tell you.
I've talked about this on the podcast before, but let me just bring it up real fast. There was a game for I don't know if it was in Intellivision or a ColecoVision, whatever. It was one of those old systems, and it was just a game where you mowed lawns. And I think there's actually a game out there on Steam right now where you just mow lawns. Uh, but it was just so fun. Like you just mow lawns, and then that's it. Then you pass a level, and then the next level gives you a different lawn, and there's some bees that are attacking you. You're like, I did it. Look at me. Look, Dad, I'm doing chores. F you. Um, this is kind of along the same lines, right? Yeah, you're doing chores, but it's fun.
Yeah. You get to have a dog sometimes. So that's something.
Yeah, and you put the aliens in the microwave, and then it makes food, and then you eat it.
Yeah, it turns into chicken. I don't know why, but it does. All right. Well, that's Out of Space. I enjoyed it. I think it's like $10 on Steam.
Yeah.
So yeah, check it out. Play with your friends. Play with us. Play whatever you want to play. We do have a little bit of time left over, and we do have quite a few folks that are very active in the chat. So this is a cue to you in the chat. If you guys have questions, we'll get into a little bit of Q&A, end of the episode stuff. And I pulled one from Philip Marks, who asks, do either of us play video games on our phones, like fun old school side-scrolling games? Are you playing any cellular telephone games there, Brandon?
Oh, the last game that I played on my phone was actually a Matt Sizemore recommendation.
You asked for it. Here it is.
It's a video game on your iPhone.
And it was King's League 2, which I guess is a sequel. I've never seen the first one. I think that games should just start coming out with just the sequel right away. Just be like, oh, well, they were successful enough to come out with a sequel. I should check it out, right? Anyways, Kings League 2, it was fun. I forget how to play it, but it was it was like kind of story based and I don't know, side battle type thing. Check it out. It's on iOS.
Yeah. I bought into Apple Arcade the first month when it was free. It was a free trial. I haven't canceled it. They're getting $5 from me every month. My bad. But
Okay.
there are some decent games on there. One of the games that we played quite a bit is What the Golf, which if you have not played What the Golf, it's fantastic. It's the most non-golf related golf game ever. But there's lots of fun challenges and things in there. Mini Motorways. I still have this loaded on my phone. It's basically sort of like a city simulation game, very basic, but you little like factories and houses pop up, and you have to connect the roadways to get the cars to the factories that
Yeah.
they have to go to. So yeah, it's fun. I play that when I play a game, and that's about it. I don't know what else
There,
I've.
Grindstone was another one that I was playing, which is maybe I mentioned this before, but it's kind of not. It's it's one of those match type games like Bejeweled or any of like Cartoon Crush or where you have to match light colors to get rid of things. But the twist here is you are a guy who's killing monsters, and the monsters are different colors, and you got to match. And then if you match a certain amount, then you get a gem. Match more, then you get other gems. And it's more of a role playing type of game where like then you can buy different weapons and different abilities and what have you. I grinded that grindstone game for a long time, and they kept coming out with more content. And I think I got burnt out because I spent so much time on it. But other than that, fantastic game. I recommend it.
Uh, we have a couple of other. I can't speak tonight. We have a. I
You
mean,
drink wine. That's your problem.
all
You
right,
didn't.
all right. You talk while I freshen up over here.
Okay, okay. All right. All right. All right. Next question that we've got. It's not a question. Uh, I'm not saying that. D squeeze 321. What's your favorite cheese? What is your favorite cheese, Travis? I know you like cheese. I know you like cheese. Now drink. Oh, sorry. I'll tell you what my favorite cheese is. Jesus Christ.
That took a turn.
um,
Yeah, no, I I like cheese. Okay, I'm not crazy about cheese. I'm not. You won't find me grabbing a string cheese and using that as a snack. Not my deal.
mm,
And I like the spicy stuff. So probably a pepper jack. Pepper jack
oh,
tends to be my cheese of choice. If
that's it.
if I'm at a Subway, you better believe my toasted sub is gonna have some pepper jack.
Have you ever had the pepper jack with um, habanero peppers in it?
Ooh, I
Oh,
don't
you
know. I might have. It
get it
sounds
from the
delicious.
specialty section at the supermarket, any supermarket. Really, really fantastic. I I like a lot of cheese. I can't tell you what my favorite cheese is, but I can tell you what I don't like, and I've discovered this over the years. Matt knows this because every time I go, well, he doesn't know the part I don't like. Matt knows I like cheese because every time I go visit his parents, Mrs. Sizemore always lays out just a cheese board for me. She's like, "Oh, Brandon's here. Get the cheese." So thanks, Mrs. S. Um, but she never puts out there goat cheese, and thank goodness for that because I don't like goat cheese. I've discovered that over the years. Chelsea loves it, but it's I don't know, it's too gamey. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds appropriate in this.
Yeah, yeah. I will say, my wife recently bought a wheel of brie cheese,
Okay.
and then she got a one of those like round like artisan loaves of bread, and she cut like the middle, like top, about a wheel of brie size hole in this bread, and then like rubbed like butter and herbs and stuff in the bread, and then just put the whole thing of brie in there and baked it in the oven for a little bit. Oh,
Oh,
and she like cut like around the, so it was like this like tear apart brie cheese. And then I went and ran 5.5 miles the next day. Uh,
there it
um,
is.
but yeah, cheese is fine. If you're lactose intolerant, I'm sorry. It happens to the best of us. So we do have a couple that watches us pretty regularly. Justin and Rachel. Justin, if you're watching this, Rachel says that they ran out of toilet paper in the front bathroom. Please help her. Make sure that you you help her out with that. Not really a question, but a public service announcement. All the same. That's the type of chat, high quality chat that you guys are missing if you're not checking out the video versions of these episodes.
That's right. And if you want to be a part of the chat, we would love to have you come in, ask us questions. We will get to your questions just as soon as we can, and every once in a while we will mention you without context, and you can see my teeth get purple. It's fun. It's like
Oh.
drinking red.
Yeah.
Um, but,
Well, you,
oh,
I don't
huh?
know. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. After you.
I thought I saw a question. Wasn't so much a question. So it was an inappropriate interruption. My apologies.
Oh, oh, I see. I see. Well, I think.
Do you want to hit one of these backups, or do you want to call it tonight?
Oh, what is the backup? Oh, look at you! You put backup things in the show notes.
Producer at large. That's me. All right. All right. Brandon had a story to open up this episode. A bit of a story.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell a little tale before we get out of here. So, Brandon and I have been friends for a really long time, over a decade at this point. I think we've been hanging out, and he used to come over to my house and play Settlers of Catan on a nearly weekly basis.
sure.
It was a lot of fun. We have some great memories of six guys hanging around a bunch of hexagons and playing a board game. And one of the conversations that came up like 10 years ago was the idea of geocaching.
That's right.
And it was something that I had just like read an article about online, and I was trying to convince my friends like, hey, maybe this is something we should go check out. And nobody seemed into it. Everybody's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you just go find stuff. And a key phrase that has stuck around with some of these friends for 10 years now is when I blurted out, "It's like treasure hunting, guys." And a good friend of ours, Ryan, will still mention treasure hunting in a random text message from time to time. But that's pretty much the extent of where geocaching went for me, is bringing it up with you guys, thinking it seemed like a weird kind of cool activity, but
Uh-huh.
never really getting into it.
Yeah.
And then recently, I started seeing some more stuff about geocaching. I saw some videos about people that had been doing it, and I was like, I really wonder, like, are there any geocaches near me? Like,
Who wrote the book of love? Wonder, wonder. Oh.
yeah, wonder. Yeah. No, I got it.
Right.
So I downloaded the like official geocaching app and popped her open and discovered an entire world of hidden logs and knickknacks all around me. So a couple of weeks ago, my family and I traveled out to find our first geocache, and we failed miserably. We couldn't find it. But after a couple of attempts, we ended up finding one. Less than a mile from our house.
Wow.
And I had
Treasure that close to your house?
no, yeah, they're all over the freaking place, man. If you open up the app right now, I guarantee you there's probably one within 2 miles of you right now.
Wait, hold on a sec. Oh my God, there's one.
Don't you patronize me. It's like treasure hunting, Brandon. Well, I was like, okay, that's cool. Well, hey, we found one. We signed the log. We did the whole thing. But I had two of my kids with me, and now they're like, Dad, let's go find more go caches, because they couldn't figure out how to say geocaches. So, like, over the course of that week, I think we found 4 other ones. And it was kind of cool because we'd be out like with the family somewhere, and I just like open up the app, be like, oh, hey, there's one like a block away. Let's go see if we can find it. Or instead of just like circling the Target parking lot or just sitting there on my phone when Sheena's going into shop for something, like we can just, we'll just go over here and come right back or whatever. So I will say I've officially started doing this. Now I haven't looked for one in like a week and a half. So maybe it was a short-lived hobby, but I did it. I actually did go out and find some, and it's kind of fun.
That
It's kind of cool.
it sounds pretty fun. You know what I dislike most about the story was it didn't involve me at all. Yet, yet, let's talk about this for a second. It does involve me, and you're leaving out that crucial detail, Travis.
Okay. So yes, all right.
Mm,
So
mm,
there.
Wait,
You asked for it. Here it is.
it's your story about Brandon.
So there are different levels of difficulty with geocaches. And then there's also a promotion going on right now where they are promoting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles' latest version of their animated cartoon by doing all these little trinkets that are left in geocaches all over the United States and around the world. And yeah, so I went to take my son to go find one of these Ninja Turtles, and the geocache that it was hidden in had a riddle with it, and so it wouldn't give you the specific coordinates where the actual cache was. You had to solve a puzzle to get the actual coordinates. And I was like thinking over it for about half a day, like off and on. I like poke in and be like, oh, all right. It was weird because it was like a paragraph that didn't like have words in it, or it had numbers in it, but it wasn't like a direct correlation to coordinates. So yeah, so I was like, you know what, I'm just kind of stuck. I don't know what to do. So I took a picture of it and I sent it to you, and I was like, hey, you got any idea how to get coordinates out of this? Like, what can you make heads or tails of this, Brandon? and then I started doing the dishes.
That's right.
And then like what? How long did it take you? How long did you work on that puzzle?
Well, when you sent that to me, I forget what was going on that day. I was in a funk, or I was starting to feel sick. I didn't feel quite myself, and I'd fallen asleep on the recliner. And when I woke up, that's when I saw the message, and it was like 9 o'clock at night or whatever. And I started looking at it, and you're like, if you can give me help, whatever. And because I mean, you had no faith in me to actually like spend any time helping you with geocaching.
No.
And so I read the paragraph, and with this is like the one thing that I'm fairly decent at. It's looking at a paragraph or a PowerPoint slide or anything and noticing where the spelling errors or the grammatical errors or the miscapitalized letters end up being. So I read the paragraph one time, like, okay, they're asking for coordinates. They need coordinates. There's something in this paragraph, and it was talking about like bridges and bridges historically and all this type of stuff. And what jumped out at me at first was there was a letter that was capitalized in the middle of the paragraph, like in the middle of a sentence. I'm like, that's kind of weird. And then I noticed another one that was capitalized weird. Like, okay, that's just doesn't belong there. And then a third one, and eventually I'm like, and this is like over like maybe an hour or two just thinking about it. Like, okay, there has to be something with these three letters GFE, and because those letters are in order in the alphabet, I'm like, okay, maybe they're part of the alphabet. Like, oh nope, that's not. Well, looking at the other letters capitalized in there, and I thought it was gonna be like an A B C D E F G type thing. It wasn't like that. But then I was like, okay, how many numbers in the coordinates do they need? Oh, they need this many numbers in the coordinates. Okay, well let me look at all the capitalized letters. Oh, there's just enough capitalized letters in the paragraph to match the numbers. Okay, well if I number each letter in the alphabet, the highest it goes to is E, or I should say. Like, oh, okay. Hey, numbers.
Hey,
Numbers.
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 Meanwhile, he's doing all this like high level thinking, and I'm like doing dishes.
Washing all the dishes.
Yeah.
Wash,
Scrub it
wash,
up, dub. Let's clean
scrub,
out the
scrub,
pans.
scrub, and dry, dry, dry. Just very, very slowly, very
Yeah,
much.
and then you're like, hey, here's the coordinates, and I'm like, oh crap. All right. Uh, so So then you're like, yeah, they're probably not even right. Like, whatever. That's just what I came up with.
Yeah.
But there's a website where you can check the coordinates to see if you got it right. And yeah, I plugged them in. You're absolutely right. Still haven't gone to look for that geocache. So
Here's why I thought I was on the right direction, but I didn't know I was right, because I took those numbers, I put them into the coordinates, and then I looked in like Google Maps, and it ended up somewhere in Nebraska, which is where you are, but it didn't end up anywhere near you.
yeah.
And I thought, well, I mean, how many places in the world are there? Clearly, it's probably close, but I mean, maybe it's coincidence. So that's why I sent it to you and be like, this may be something, but it may be not. Sorry.
But yeah, I will probably go.
Uh,
Oh, wasp break. I'll probably go check those coordinates. Here's the other part of that story that got left out is as soon as you actually figured out where that cache is hidden, I went and checked the log for that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle thing that we were trying to find in the first place, and someone had taken it the trackable out of that cache and was moving it north to another geocache. So we will still go and try to find that cache, but it will not have the Leonardo trackable that we were looking for in the first place. So anyway, that's geocaching in a nutshell. I'll do it more. If you've done geocaching, let us know. Shoot us a tweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you really like Geocache, you should check out his album when he's at Folsom Prison.
All right. Finally, thank you to everybody that's been following along. Thank you to BCB TIE Fighter for following us. I think that's 3 follows tonight over on Twitch. So you guys are rock stars. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for potting with us. If you are listening on the audio version of the podcast, don't feel left out. We love you guys too. And if you're new to the show, maybe you're just listening for the first time from Interdimensional RSS or something like that, make sure you head out to Apple Podcasts where you can rate and review the podcast. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, and follow along on all those social media network things. We are going to now end the audio version of this podcast and hang out for a little while longer with those dedicated Twitch followers. But for everyone else, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing, and until next time, I'm Travis.
And I'm Brandon, and
You asked for it. Here it is.
it's the end of the show.
Bye.
It's okay. It's okay, everybody.
Guys,
It's okay.
we're still here. We're still here.
We haven't
okay.
gone away yet. We haven't left
We're
yet.
right here. We're here for you and only you now. Those people that choose to watch us live or come back later and watch us recorded on YouTube.
I want to do something. In shit, if I can find it. So we've been I've been doing that Matt intro all time.
You asked for it.
But I there was something that I tried to put in there as far as like for like loyalty things. It has to do with Matt. So I wanna check that out. So you just talk for a minute and then I'll.
Oh, all right. So yeah, we're gonna talk for a minute. So is this something that you did in our streaming software or that you did in Twitch proper?
Yeah. In Streamlabs.
Streamlabs. Yeah. If you're still hanging out, this is a Shiner Cosmos Reserve. It is also the last beer in my mini fridge that sits right next to my desk. So I'm gonna have to hit the store, but yeah. So that's what we're having tonight.
Okay, I'm gonna try something I've never done before. So I apologize.
What happened to the Rick and Morty sound makers?
Oh damn it! Somebody need to. Hey Matt, you've been around. Do the loyalty points. Do that command I just did, and see if that works. Just copy and paste it. Redeem.
Redeem me. Yeah.
Matt.
Type in what was written Up there. Over.
I wanna
Type that little redeem
see it.
command, Matt.
I don't think it worked. Yeah, I'm trying to get this chatbot thing to work. I'm still got.
Hey, we're
Still
still learning, guys. We're still learning. We're only 50 followers deep now, thanks to you guys. But we appreciate you hanging out. Look at all those
You know what?
redemption.
I
You
know.
try that, D Squeeze. Also, somebody said, what happened to our Rick and Morty sounds? Did
Oh yeah.
or sound
I don't know.
makers? Oh, are you talking about the pocket operators? Those things? We have them. Mine is actually on my nightstand. I mess with that thing when I'm hanging out. But I need to produce some actual music with it.
I think he's talking about like when we had like ooh wee stuff like that.
The soundboards.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, let us know. Are you talking about the pocket operators or the soundboard? Let us know what you're thinking.
Okay. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play it because I have it tied to my thing. Okay. Here we go. Check this out.
You're listening to a podcast by Apathetic Enthusiasm.
These are all Matt.
Ladies and gentlemen,
These are all
it's time
Matt's
for a
attempts.
podcast with Apathetic Enthusiasm. And now, it's time for a podcast brought to you by Apathetic Enthusiasm. We've got apathetic, we've got enthusiasm, and now you have a podcast. Here it is. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, it's Brandon and Travis with a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the moment you've been waiting for, it's a podcast by Apathetic Enthusiasm. You say apathetic, we say enthusiasm. I don't get it, but here's a podcast. Plus Travis Menard equals a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm. Brandon Cruz plus Travis Menard equals a podcast by Apathetic Enthusiasm. It's that time, everybody. Sit back and relax and enjoy this podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's that time for a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm. You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
That's a winner.
Interestingly enough, Matt did all of those, and the only one that I thought was good enough was the very last one. So thank you, Bass, my Bass. Let's go play.
Those are great, and I'm so grateful that he did all of those because, yeah, they're awesome and they make us sound so legit. You legitimize us, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. You legitimize us.
You and the people that may actually sponsor this stuff one day. You two really legitimize us.
Philip, we do have the pocket operators. I actually have mine down there.
That is a drum kit. That is an actual drum kit, Brandon.
No, it's right there, hanging down at the bottom of the green cord.
Oh, okay.
All right. I've always got it readily accessible. I just haven't fucked with it in a long time.
Yeah. The last one. That's right. And we talked about that for a while. I think as we listened to those, we debated over. I don't know if there's much debate, but we definitely discussed which one we thought made the most sense for our intros.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We did. Yeah. I mean, this. I want to talk, Travis, just while we have people watching and with bated breath, BAITED. It's like they're like trolling over on the lake. By the way, my kid wants to go fishing. In just out of nowhere, he was just like, "Hey, I want to go fishing, Dad." I'm like, you picked the wrong father to do outdoor.
We're gonna have to find you new parents.
What was it? Oh, bated breath. Yeah,
and you were like getting out the little fish game where that like goes around in the circle and it's like, and they just open their mouths like this, and you stick the little plastic thing in. And you're like, fishing.
Finger.
That doesn't work, Brandon.
And then I put it on the grill after I cut its head off.
You just have melted plastic all over your grill.
There's just the lake near my house. There's just a bunch of floating little pieces like that. Like, it's catch and release, son. You gotta
You just give him a net, and he's digging plastic out of the pond.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is, while Rick and Morty is still on their on their hiatus, five episodes. It's really hard to keep going. We're doing this every week, and I like doing this because it is so free flowing, and we're having fun, and you guys come in here, and it feels like we can interact with you a little bit closer than we do when we're talking about Rick and Morty, because that's a little bit more structured. But this is really fun, and I want to say that I just have a blast with you, you pieces of shit, all of you pieces of shit.
You,
Sire Dark, shit. Matt Sizemore, have a good day face, shit. And you know what? I wouldn't want to be shit with anybody else than you guys. So
yeah.
thank you.
Takes one to know one, Brandon. Yeah. No, this is a lot of fun. I feel like we're in a little bit of an AE renaissance here. It's always this show has always been fun. It's the reason we started podcasting, but yeah, streaming adds a new element to it. I don't know if anybody recognized or noticed the new layout around us. It's not drastically different, but I think things are placed a little bit better so that
Yeah. I'm like streaming on like 6 different things, and I didn't actually notice it yet. Oh,
oh,
that
what
that
a
looks
what a jerk. Occasionally there'll be like a little banner that pops up down here. Um, yeah, eventually we'll sell that space for money. So, so if you have a product that you want us to scroll along the bottom of our stream, contact us at apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Travis, real quick question for you. I want to answer Sire Dark's question, which is favorite MST3K episode. Now, I know you're not a huge MST3K guy, not because you don't like the show, but because you haven't really gotten into it very much. Can you think of an episode that you've seen that you might just say that?
I I've watched MST3K. I I don't think I've ever watched like a full episode. I always like watch like clips or back in like the cable TV back in its heyday on Comedy Central. Like I would turn it on, watch it for a little bit, and then I don't know. It's a whole movie. Like it's a whole movie. So I don't know. I don't.
It's not always the whole movie. They they,
Yeah.
they cut pieces off, you know.
Yeah, but it's a big commitment.
Just name a movie that you've seen, and then just throw it out there.
When did it? What platform did it come back on? Was it Netflix? It was Netflix, right?
Netflix, yeah.
I feel like I watched the first one. I thought maybe watched the first two
Okay.
Netflix ones, and that's because we were like super hyped about it, and I think we were like trying to get somebody on the podcast that was like associated with the show or something.
Oh yeah. I think I was trying to get the woman who took over the gypsy role, because it wasn't the original gypsy that came on for the Netflix. It was another woman. Um, okay, that's fine. I mean, that's close enough. You watched something with Jonah over on Netflix. Yeah, I will probably. I noticed that Matt Have a Good Day Face mentioned the Clonus horror, and he that I would have said that anyway. That's what it is, because he loves saying I'm Peter Graves. He just loves saying Peter Graves. He's always loved it. Always loved it. I think, uh, Manos: The Hands of Fate. That's obviously a good one to watch. Uh, was it not Torga? The one with the Richard Keel, he was a Candyman on the Twilight Zone. He was also uh, Jaws from James Bond.
Mhm.
That one's a good one. Um, MST3K the movie, always great. But uh, Pod People, great one. Geez, there's I even like the one with Jonah when they covered Mac and Me. That's great.
That maybe I should check that one out.
You should, on biography. Yes, Matt, that's it. That's right. And then the real question is, who said that? Oh, Alex R. The real question is Mike or Joel, and we'll leave Jonah out of it for now. You can't. I don't think you can speak to this, Travis, but I will say that when I was growing up, I was a Mike fan. I liked Mike more. He was kind of more biting, but he fit into the humor that I had at the time. And I was never kind of I wasn't really a Joel guy. When I started rewatching MST3K over the years, I realized that Joel is really funny too. It just depends on what your mood is as far as references go, and if it's kind of goofy humor or if it's more kind of a snarky. Mike is more of the snarky way, and then Jonah just is overall. He seems a fine fella.
He seemed like a nice guy. Uh, Brandon,
Hmm.
I posted something in our Slack, the professional way that we communicate on a regular basis.
Mhm.
But I don't recall you actually um, responding to it.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to get your opinion. I have been listening to all the way back from the beginning of the Harmontown podcast. Now that Harmontown is off the air, they're not releasing any more podcasts. I know some of our listeners listen to Harmontown as well, but the new podcast with Rob Schraub
Oh,
is
Schraub TV.
Schraub TV. It is set to have a live recording at the Dynasty Typewriter on March 15th. So the podcast is coming. It there's gonna, if you're in the LA area and you want to catch it live, you can head over to wherever you buy tickets for the Dynasty Typewriter.
I didn't know you wanted me to respond to that. You didn't. There was.
There was no reaction. There was just nothing.
Oh,
It was
uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. My bad.
You were
My,
so shocked
let me
by
describe.
the shambling mound himself.
Let me describe my reaction to that news in the moment that you sent it that I read it. I was on a different computer. I was working on a budget for fiscal year 21, and
Weird flex, but okay.
this I mean, and I look over like, "Hi, Schraub TV," and I looked around my office and I said, "Hey, Rob Schraub's coming out with a live podcast," and no one reacted.
Everybody said, "Shut up, Brandon. Get back to the budget."
Like, you talk too much as it is. Oh, you're fucking weird, bro.
Disposable assassins.
Why don't you stop being fucking weird and just do that budget, you bitch? And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll keep doing it. Um, and I thought it was cool, but I didn't
Everybody in the office just has balls of paper that they wait to throw at you whenever you say something.
let me talk to you real quick about a problem that I've found in my office lately. Um, I am I'm not going to say I'm not a weird guy because I am. But I'm at like a little cubicle farm, whatever, and I bought like a coconut water today at lunch, and it's it's a normal bottle. It's just a normal plastic bottle. And when I got back to work, I set it on my desk, and no less than 4 people came over and did the exact same action to that bottle. They went up and they're like, "Oh, your bottle fell over." 4 people did this, but here's the kicker. Like, it wasn't planned. They weren't like, "Hey, you know what? Let's go to Brandon's desk and knock this bottle over and say the same thing." No, it is like some weird community conscience that's like, you know what? Let's knock a bottle over and say, "Hey, your bottle fell over." Like it's like it's just the pod people. They're fucking pod people, but instead of people who's doing work or like the aliens taking over, there's like, yeah, let's knock over bottles. Like that's how the aliens feed off of our planet. There's like, do we kill them all? No, we don't want to do that. Do we take all their water like all other alien movies do? No. We feed off of the frustration that people get when we knock over their coconut water bottles. That's what it seems like. By the way, that's my screenplay. Please don't take that. I'm, I'm submitting it to Netflix. I've already got a deal going.
Oh, okay. I was distracted by the uh, sudden politicalness of our chat, but I will make a reference to one other inter-office situation that caught me off guard today, and I don't make it a secret in the workplace that I'm on a podcast, but I'm not like handing out business cards and trying to get listeners in my office all the time. But I did have
I'm gonna tell you after this.
Okay. So, two of the guys that I work with are roommates, and one of the guys told me a story today about how he was at his house over the weekend, and he went downstairs to the kitchen, and the other roommate was like making something in the kitchen, and he had something playing like on his phone, but it wasn't really music, and then uh, the guy was like kind of like trying to figure out what it was, and he was like, it was weird because he heard my voice in the kitchen, and then finally it dawned on him that this coworker was listening to interdimensional RSS while he was like working in the kitchen. And I will tell you that this person that's listening to our podcast, like I've talked to him, he knows that I listen to it. I've caught him listening to it at work, but it's just so bizarre to me that somebody that I work with on a regular basis, who I don't talk to a lot at work, has probably heard hours and hours of you and I talking about Rick and Morty. So it's awesome and also kind of bizarre. But that is the fun in what we do. So, what were you thinking about?
Yeah, that is bizarre. So this weekend, for those of you who are still here checking us out, this weekend I'm actually going to Podfest in Orlando.
That's right.
I got a couple of free tickets, but I'm only one person, so I'm going to go by myself, and I'm trying to go with a purpose. There, so when I actually get there, like I don't just show up and be like, oh, don't talk to me, anybody. Oh, I'm nervous. Oh, look at me, I'm nervous, old bro.
Oh, nervous Brandon, coming on through, please. Please have minimal social interaction with me. I will shriek away into the corner.
Conversations. uh, so I'm gonna take some cards, and I'm gonna talk to some streamers. I'm gonna talk to some podcasters. My biggest thing about those events, and I think we've chatted about this, you and I personally before, is they always seem like they're more along the lines of the business aspect of it, the business aspect of things, which obviously we don't mind not being in the red when it comes to podcasting, but like entrepreneurial and how to make money off of the stuff. It's important, but it's not the primary thing.
Yeah.
And so I always kind of I'm hesitant to go into that, but it'll be a good networking opportunity if I go into it with the right mindset. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah. And if
we
I
just-
start walking now, I might get there in time to go with you. I just have to do that whole work thing. So.
And the other thing too, the thing that made me hesitant about wanting to go to these events before is if I didn't get the tickets for free, I wouldn't be going because the tickets are like $2.99 each, and I can't spend that kind of money. I need to buy new Xboxes when it's a limited power supply.
Yeah, clearly
Call
we
back.
have things that have to be purchased.
Call back.
Yeah. It's good job.
I live outside my means. Oh, Rachel she has a question about a comment made on a previous interdimensional RSS episode. Um, which of us said men and women can never be friends?
That sounds like a Brandon comment.
Does it? Does it sound?
Because I don't feel like that's something I would have said.
No, I forget what was the context of that. It was probably about people hitting on my wife because they thought they were friends.
Slow down on the box there, Brandon. I mean, it had to be in reference to a Rick and Morty episode, I would think. But I'm not sure which.
My
How do you feel revisiting that thought?
well, before I get into it, because I'm going to go longer than I probably need to be. I mean, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I have friends who are girls. I have
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Are you cheating on your wife?
No.
No, I never asked that.
Yeah, but I also think you have to set certain boundaries with those friendships I think that there is potential for things to be misunderstood, especially if one person in a friendship like wants more out of it than what is available. So I think that there are safe boundaries that people should have, especially if they're in a committed relationship. But yeah, I think that it's possible for men and women to be friends. I don't think that that's not possible.
Two things. One, Sire Dark mentions it was a joke in the show. Season 2, episode 1. We're like a platonic relationship between male and female coworkers, purely hypothetical.
Nice pull, Sire Dark, man.
Yeah.
You should be on a Rick and Morty podcast.
No, it's kind of like that whole Star Wars idiom. Yeah, only Sith deal in absolutes.
Yeah.
Which, why would you say only if you you must be a Sith then? It's not that it just like what you were saying, Travis. It's not that men and women can't be friends. It's that when you're in a relationship and somebody else in a relationship, there's certain boundaries that need to be established ahead of time, because it can be easy to slip into that. I consider myself friends with Sheena, and Sheena considers me a friend, but there's a certain level of I wouldn't be having conversations with her every single night, and like without you being there, a part of it in some way, shape, or form, right?
Or like hanging out exclusively with the other person's significant other on a regular basis. Not something we did when we were neighbors. That's for sure.
Right.
They
can be friends, but
the flip side of this coin is I had a really good friend in high school who then became it was still one of my best friends in early college years. Eventually we got married after dating for a long period of time, and she is still my wife. So yeah, sometimes male female friendships definitely turn into more than that. So I don't know. Yeah. Just
the only reason I'm with Chelsea is because we cheated on our significant others with each other at the time.
And no one else would have you.
Chelsea and my relationship is based off of infidelity. Look, we'll just get that out of the way, and and we're fine with that. But we also now recognize that what, maybe we shouldn't do that with the other sex. And I don't know what episode that was, but since then, Chelsea and I we've had experiences with the other sexes where it's like, oh man, or oh woman, you crossed the line that you didn't need to cross. So it can happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but generally, there's attraction. Let me do a little sidestep here. Men have a penis, right? This is a representation of a penis. Not mine, mind you. It's a fraction of that. It's like an elbow. It's just like it's just okay. And women, I don't know if you know this, Travis. You have a couple kids, but I'm not sure if you know this. They have okay. Justin is a change of subject. He wants to purchase a banjo. Should
Hey.
I have a banjo, and it depends on how much you want to play it. If you are playing it, then by all means get a banjo. If you want to just hang it up on a display in your living room, like I do with mine, because yeah, I don't do it. Oh, the last time I used it was for that when we did the intro for Bush World
The
Adventure.
Bushwild Adventures. Do you still have that audio?
I do somewhere. I'd have to find it. It's under this box of wine,
Good.
probably.
It's probably somewhere down there. Yeah. My son just got a drum set.
Oh,
He's not allowed to play it while we're recording. But yeah, it's that should be fun. I really hope that he learns how to play it. But yeah, if you're gonna play that banjo, play it up. I dig a banjo. I think they're cool. We also had another question. Do we have sisters? You don't have a sister, do you? You're all bros, right?
I do not have a sister. That is a fact, Jack.
And all I got is sisters. So yeah, I have a biological sister and a stepsister. So yeah, we're two completely different people.
I have a sister-in-law, and she considers me a brother, but to me there's still always kind of like a just an artificial wall there, just to make sure that nothing seems untoward, as they say in the business.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
In business. All right, I got something for you, Travis.
I'm ready.
It's last time I used my banjo. Oh, damn it! Is it not playing? Oh
Nope,
no!
it is not playing.
Oh, it was playing, but let's try it again. Coming to you live from a Bush World Adventure. Everything here looks hastily animated, and the Bush Wizard says we've nearly made it to Bendigo. This is Interdimensional RSS, the unofficial Bush World podcast adventure.
Is that just you going? Ha 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 ha?
It is.
You got to record yourself making some of that, and we got to post it, like, because that is such good stuff. That is the best.
So good. There's certain things that like you don't realize how proud you are of something until you go back and see it or hear it or hear about it again. Hear about it, not hear it, but
Yeah.
um, like like that time I accidentally burnt my 2004 Chevy S10 to the ground. You don't know that you're proud of things until it happens.
Until the retrospect. Cheers, Phil. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate all you guys hanging out. This is fun. We'll have to do it again next week. We're trying to figure out schedules, trying to figure out what beer does to me digestively. But yeah, we working on D&D games, making that happen. Working on more streaming. We're enjoying it. So yeah. Shaka bra.
Shaka bra. By the way, cut me off. Don't do that, because I'm like, that's not a free pass. Shaka's not a free pass for you to cut me off. Hawaii bros.
It's true. I have two sisters, but I only met one twice. She's 20 years older than me. I didn't know about her until I was 13.
Oh my gosh.
Interesting.
One of my really good friends out here in Tampa, he, because I'm not friends with women. We established that. He found out that his cousin, who's like a year older than him, was actually his brother when they were already adults, and that brother Bruzin, they say, his father, my friend's father, they share a father, had sex with his stepsister to have that child. Um, so his so his Bruzin
Present.
is a, adopted aunt's son. As he found that out, and I think that's cool. But now they all joke about it, and they're like, "Ha ha ha, you're like my brother, but not really. But yeah,
Yeah. Speaking of being like brothers, but not, Miro714, thanks for following us on Twitch.
hey,
You the real MVP. Thanks for hanging out with us.
yeah." Maybe
Uh,
I was watching them earlier playing that Call of Duty though, and it reminded me how much fun I have playing Call of Duty, and also how pissed off I get when I keep getting just fucking wrecked. But
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you one thing. My episode is rendered, and it's been uploaded to our shared repository for audio. So that's good. That's good. My responsibilities as a podcast co-host have been fulfilled.
it,
Uh,
it, what we found is that when we stream, it is really fun, but that means that I have to edit the next day, edit
mhm.
and release the next day, which means podcast episodes don't come out until Wednesday. But that doesn't matter to you guys here in the stream because you're here.
That's
You're
old
having
news. That's old news. Come on.
the news. Hey, cheers to you, Kink.
All right. Yeah. Anything else for the folks? Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this one up and call it a night. Did you find that mosquito?
I didn't. I'm, I'm still that little son of a bitch. He's around here somewhere.
He's right behind you.
Ah, no, it's
Uh,
Bart Simpson.
if you're new to the channel, if you're new here, thanks to everybody that followed tonight. Thanks to everybody that's hanging out. Oh, jeez,
Oh God,
Brandon.
sorry everybody.
um, but yeah, we appreciate you guys hanging out. We podcast every Monday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Don't forget to set those clocks back an hour this weekend, so that
No.
or I guess you're spring forwarding, so losing an hour of sleep. But you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss this episode next week, and we'll also have some games coming up. So if you're following, I'm sure you'll get notifications of that. You can also follow along on our social media over at what is it called? Twitter at Apathusiast or Rick and Morty Pod. We usually let people know what our streaming plans are over there and what
Yeah,
our multi-chin plans are.
we do.
How light is that box, Brandon?
What?
How light is that box?
No, let me tell you. Look, let's get close up. Let's get close up and personal to the Boda box. Um, here's what I want you to really notice here. 3 liter,
That is 4 bottles of wine in that
one
box.
box equals 4 bottles. I cannot drink a box by myself, not in one night, because that would make me an alcoholic. Um, but I will say that maybe 3 glasses of full wine. That's how much that's how much I drank. This box is almost already empty. And you know what we do? What Chelsea and I do is it gets to a point where like there's no pressure anymore coming out of the wine. So what we do is we take it out of the box and then we squeeze it. We squeeze it, get all that extra wine out of there. And then we finish it up.
Yep, and that's teamwork. All right, that's it for now. We'll send you guys all over to the Bachelor finale or whatever's happening over on ABC. Yeah, no, I don't think we have anybody else streaming right now that we could send people to. So,
But I want to say I just caught what the asterisk tink means, and I'm like, oh, I love that. Oh my god, why don't we just do tinks all the time? Whenever we leave, let's do Let's do tinks, not twinks, people. That's a different thing. That's for a different stream. That's our live cam over on Pornhub.com for all your twink needs.
All right, guys, I'm gonna end this before it goes really off the rails, and maybe get Brandon a cracker or something to eat. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Why am I glasses?
That is the official end. Thank you guys for hanging out. Until next week. Bye.